watching you to see what you're going to be doing. And it feels like you have an identity crisis, like you don't know who you are. 1 minute a year ago, Trump is a horrible person. Kamala's going to win. Biden's going to win. I have no interest in running for office. Never, not at all. I love being a governor. And then this year, Trump wins. Then you say, oh, I got to start a podcast. America's going to the center. We got to find out to talk to the center. So you go and talk to all these Republicans. You talk to Ben.
When Patrick Bet David sat across from Gavin Newsom, his sudden political shift felt less like strategy and more like confusion. One year, he talks about a presidential run. The next, he steps away and launches a podcast, inviting conservatives who echo his new direction. It leaves a simple question hanging in the air. Which version of him is real?
Podcast format, go for 3 hours, okay? And do it this way. You come to us, okay? There you go. We will guarantee 3 hours. We'll guarantee minimum $1 million to both just to participate to your campaign. We'll do a super chat. People will be able to call in, all that other stuff. But it shouldn't be 2 minutes. Oh, stop. No, okay. No, none of that stuff. Yeah. I want to see if Newsom can talk for 10 minutes with an answer, and I want to see if DeSantis can give a long answer. So What do you think about the issues that we're facing? And let it be a different kind of a format. You'll get the money's worth. I wouldn't go to see.
The conversation that followed was sharp and electric. Patrick questioned Newsom with focus and wit, mixing humor with steady pressure. With each point raised, the shine began to fade. The polished image started to crack, revealing a leader who seems more invested in style and smooth language than in clear results. Newsom's carefully crafted identity as a modern, forward-thinking figure faced tough scrutiny. Beneath the confident tone, concerns about California's struggles surfaced. The exchange painted a picture of a politician skilled at reframing setbacks as sophistication, like paying a high price for something that looks impressive but doesn't truly work.
It's because of ICE, so now this is an opportunity for you. Listen, no kings. We don't want a king. Trump's never said about being a king. And now you're trying to be Trump when Newsom was right about everything with the hat and all this other stuff. Who are you? Who's your marketing person? This is the most embarrassing campaign. Everybody's watching. Kamala was already the most embarrassing loss in the history of the Democratic Party.
Under Gavin Newsom, California's image seems to take the first hit. It was once seen as the land of palm trees, beaches, bright ideas, and big chances. Now, to some critics, that dream feels shaken. Patrick argues that catchy speeches and polished lines have taken the place of real leadership. Businesses shut their doors, families feel pressure from taxes, crime worries grow, and homelessness rises. Yet Newsom speaks as if he's ready for a bigger stage. Even the presidency. Patrick makes his view clear. This isn't leadership in motion, it's a performance, and California pays the price.
With great policies. If you and I were to compare Newsom and DeSantis, who's a better communicator? Newsom. Who is more physically attractive, tall, on camera, looks better? Newsom. Who likes the limelight more? Newsom. Who is probably more comfortable around people? Newsom. Do we give a shit about any of that?
He then turns to Newsom's pandemic decisions, comparing them to tearing down your own house and celebrating that you made it through. California faced some of the toughest lockdowns in the country. Small businesses struggled, schools stayed closed for long stretches, and many families felt trapped. Stress and sadness grew heavier. Meanwhile, Newsom was photographed dining at the French Laundry with lobbyists, enjoying fine food and wine while others were told to remain at home.
Interview, by the way, coincidence, but go ahead.
Mine would want to run when you have someone of such esteem as our incumbent president of the United States, with a record of accomplishments and a man of character, a man of decency.
Patrick keeps pressing the same point. When the country has a president known for experience and steady leadership, it throws a sharper light on strict rules for the public and comfort for those in power. He paints a picture of a governor who inherited one of the richest states in the world, but guided it in the wrong direction while calling it progress. The image of a bold reformer fades as energy costs climb, taxes rise, and regulations tighten. Patrick sums it up simply. Each move chips away at the engine that once powered California. He compares it to someone handed a Ferrari, driving it into the ground, then bragging about the shiny paint.
The Democratic Party sometimes, it could be both sides. I think if they choose to eliminate Biden, it's going to be 2, 3, 4 stories on what they're going to say. He's choosing to step away due to health. My wife and I had a conversation. Jill, we're going to spend more time with the grandkids. If he doesn't do it, then they're going to come out and they're going to say, listen, man, we got a lot of dirt on you, bro. You got to kind of step away if you want to protect your legacy. You're 81. We're going to have somebody else come in here. Notice Newsom's been edifying you and propping you up, and Newsom trashes DeSantis, and he's edifying you. So
he also points to crime and public safety. In some places, theft under a certain amount brings few consequences, and neighborhoods begin to look worn down and forgotten. Stores like Target and Walgreens have closed locations, and critics say it's not random, it's the result of rising disorder. Patrick argues leadership is more than bright smiles and camera time. It's about keeping communities stable and safe. In his view, Gavin focuses on appearances while deeper problems grow, and no amount of polished messaging can fully hide that contrast.
it's called chaos. Newsom responds at Trump yesterday multiple times. I think is this the clip about him talking about, but this is different, Rob. Is this it?
Yeah, this is where he says fighting fire.
Okay, go for it, Rob.
Stand down. It's time to make another phone call to Greg Abbott. This time, instead of calling him and telling him you're quote unquote entitled to 5 congressional seats, it's time to tell him to stand down. It's time to recognize that democracy is at risk. It's time to, dare I say, do the right thing. Actually see how that feels for you, doing the right.
Opponents tried to remove Gavin from office, a rare and striking challenge to his ego and leadership. Yet he survived, leaning on the Democratic Party's infrastructure, labeling critics as extremists, and framing the recall as a dire threat. Patrick points out the truth: this isn't leadership, it's feeding illusions and paranoia. Meanwhile, poverty climbs, homelessness grows, and schools fall behind. Gavin spins it all as progress, twisting chaos into kindness, failure into bravery, and inaction into innovation. In reality, it's more showmanship than governance.
And now people are sitting there worried and saying, are we ready if an earthquake happens? I honestly don't care if you're straight, gay, lesbian. I have no interest in any of that. Hearing you and you're talking about you want to increase diversity, that's not your job. Your job is to protect the families and the state of...
On the national stage, Patrick highlights why the media champions Gavin. With concerns over Vice President Kamala Harris's support and President Joe Biden's age, Gavin becomes the party's reliable fallback, a polished figure meant to impress, not necessarily lead. His presidential aspirations tied to California look like a CEO trying to sell failed strategies as bold moves. Patrick underscores the key lesson: entitlement is not leadership. The nation doesn't need charisma, it needs results. And in California, Gavin has consistently fallen short.
California will neutralize anything you do in the state of Texas. California will continue to punch above its weight. We believe in democracy. We believe in the enduring values of our founding fathers. 249 years. We're not going to sit back passively.
You can pause on that yesterday. And there's another one. He puts a second threat, which, Rob, if you can go...
California will fight fire is probably not the metaphor that Gavin Newsom wanted.
That's true. That's a good idea. So, Rob, go to X real quick. So if you go to X right there, that's his last one. TikTok Donald. Texas governor demands, California governor demands Texas redistributing push threatens ballot measure. So that's
the strength of Patrick's critique lies in the gap he exposes between Gavin's vision and reality. California is undeniably struggling, families are leaving, businesses are shutting down, and tents crowd the sidewalks. Gavin frames this as a bright future for the state, but Patrick shows how style has replaced substance and performance has replaced true leadership. The recall was only the beginning, revealing deeper issues of hypocrisy and mismanagement. California's decline is just one chapter in a larger story. Politics without results, ambition without accountability, and image without honesty. Patrick's scrutiny could signal an even broader reckoning if he pursues the presidency.
I want to pause here. Tom, I want to come to you here. What are your thoughts with everything that's going on with redistricting and gerrymandering? I have a bunch of other thoughts on this, why this is so important. But what are your thoughts on this, Tom?
Well, welcome to the sausage making that is American politics. You have right now Gavin Newsom using it to step up and do a pure leadership, a pure presidential, and to do this to put himself on the spot.
The real question isn't whether Gavin will run, it's whether America can endure another leader who values appearances over outcomes. Patrick doesn't soften the message. Crime, homelessness, and hypocrisy continue unchecked. Longtime California families move away, Companies relocate to Nevada, Florida, and Texas, and those without deep ties are fleeing fast, like passengers vying for the last lifeboats. Energy policy adds to the strain. Once a renewable energy model, California now faces rolling blackouts, soaring bills, and a power grid that can't meet demand. Patrick's blunt summary: eviction by ineptitude.
President, well, it's because he's obviously a winner.
Define a winner.
He's a smart, real guy with a pair of balls.
What areas has Newsom won in? You said he's a winner.
Winner of the election.
But based on what, though? Do you want results? Like, what has he done to California to say he's a winner?
Oh, God. I don't know. It's too... I've been doing political commentary on television.
Californians are encouraged to buy electric vehicles, yet warned not to charge them during possible outages. That isn't progress. It's a striking contradiction. Patrick calls out Gavin as a leader who constantly touts innovation, but can't reliably keep the lights on in one of the world's wealthiest states. It's like claiming to be a master chef while running a kitchen overrun with rats. Under his rule, the California dream seems reserved for the wealthy and lobbyists, deepening societal divides. Patrick also points to cultural decline. Cities once celebrated, like Los Angeles and San Francisco, now reflect dysfunction and decay. Once the West Coast's crown jewel,
and every time he says, you take a shot, you'll be fucking hammered within 3 minutes.
It's actually pretty good at drinking game. You know this guy lost $1 trillion of money under management that left the state of California last 4 years.
Yeah, and he's done nothing to make people want to come back or stay. He's making it worse.
But that goes back to the idea of what you're saying, Trump versus, Kamala or any of this stuff. To me, it goes basics to economy. You lost 2 people due to economy. And Elon Musk, he says, I got a vengeance to get back to these guys because what did he say about his losing his son?
He said that,
So my son Xavier is dead, killed by the woke mind virus.
and he was setting out to destroy the woke mind virus.
these cities now show urban deterioration. Tourists steer clear, shops are shuttered, and needles litter sidewalks. Even the entertainment capital cannot promise safe streets or reliable public services. Patrick frames this clearly: when leaders trade accountability for virtue signaling, society pays the price. Gavin avoids responsibility to protect his image, seeking praise without consequences. That isn't leadership. California bears the cost of this political theater, and Patrick reminds viewers that Gavin isn't a self-made figure. His rise was bolstered by political dynasties and special interests. Gavin's rise was fueled by networks of wealth and influence that lifted him to power.
We literally don't care about that. We care about results. What did DeSantis do when there was a hurricane and a bridge went down? 2-3 days it's built up. What happened when all the issues, what's going on in the state of Florida? Like this. What happened when he, at some points they had certain policy during COVID that they didn't like it, and boom, within a week or two they adjusted. But it was like this, right? It was so quick the way they were doing it. And that's a sign of a great leader.
The public? Hardly represented. He embodies the American political establishment, meticulously shaped to look like the future. Patrick argues that Gavin is less a leader and more a carefully packaged product, a designer label marketed to voters. The contrast is stark. While billionaires thrive, ordinary people struggle to pay rent. That is the Gavin model. Patrick warns that California is only a preview. Given a national platform, Newsom could export the same chaos, presenting dysfunction as progress while the country unravels. This is especially clear in his public clashes with Republican governors like Greg Abbott and Ron DeSantis. While California falters, Gavin stages performances for the cameras, tweeting and posturing as morally superior.
Perspective I'm coming from. I'm coming from just watching a competitor from a side that maybe I don't agree with politically. I don't know what you're trying to do, but whoever's on your marketing team, whatever advice they're giving you, this is probably worse than Kamala's campaign we saw. Trump said no tips. Kamala next week said no tips. Trump is right about everything. He wears the hat. You post and pin the hat all the way up at the top that you were right about everything with the red hat. You understand, like, imitation is the ultimate level of flattery. Like, you're showing so much respect for Trump, it's not even funny. I think it's a good idea for you to take the time out for maybe a month.
His talk of compassion, equity, and growth sounds inspiring, but in reality, the middle class is squeezed, rolling blackouts hit communities, and towns falter while the wealthy enjoy comfort. Patrick cuts through the rhetoric, exposing the decay hiding beneath those polished slogans. Gavin Newsom's story doesn't end with Patrick Bet-David's critique. It leaves viewers demanding more. One thing becomes clear: when scandals, special interests, and policy failures accumulate, true leadership is about more than just surviving. California's struggles show that Newsom doesn't rescue the state. Instead, he acts like a salesman pushing a product no one really wants. Even his most polished presentations and flashy statistics collapse under scrutiny. He stands as a prime example of how much spin the public can tolerate before reality catches up. Real leadership isn't measured by appearances or photo ops, it's measured by results.